Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are now listening to the first ever edition of Mental Health and Motivational Monday, presented by the Sex and Suicide Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we have my special co-host, Vinny Chase, with us this evening, and we figured, you're going to say hello? You can say hello.
Hello.
Perfect. Yes. We figured because we really want this podcast to be raw, real, authentic, and we figured the best way to do that would be to make myself the first guest of Mental Health and Motivational Monday. That way, I don't expect you to be as open and honest as I'm probably about to be this evening, but we do encourage you to live in this world the way that you're meant to and make the world respond to you, not so that you're necessarily being affected by everything that happens every day in the world. And we think that the only way that you can really be yourself is just live life to the fullest the way that you feel, not by how everyone else wants you to live it. And by doing that, you make the world and the people around you respond to you, and that's a respectable quality to have. So we encourage people to tune in, hoping to encourage more of that in the world, as well as to hopefully help those that are struggling with any mental illness, to motivate those that need the motivation. And keep in mind, I'm no one special here. Well, I guess I don't mean it that way. I am special, but no more special than you are. So everybody has a story. We want to hear yours. As you've seen before, we've been able to somewhat hide the identities of people that are coming on the show. So if you feel you have an important story to share, we're more than willing to hide your identity, as long as, we obviously encourage you to kind of be yourself. But if your story is going to help someone out there, then by all means, come on the show, tell it, and help us out. We just want to make your story heard, and you never know who's listening. So I've said this before, we're not looking to get 1 million viewers or to go viral by doing this show here. I'm more looking to reach that one person that just needs to hear what we're talking about that particular day, whatever the topic, whether it's sex advice that they're struggling with, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, or if it's a woman, maybe she's, when we do our Woman Crush Wednesday, not necessarily a woman, it could be a man as well, but someone that's maybe had something slipped in their drink at a party or been taken advantage of. Those are really important stories as well. Yeah. So that's what I'm here to do. So Vinny Chase is going to test his interview skills this evening, aren't you, buddy?
I am. It's going to be my first time ever actually conducting a professional interview on air.
Well, I have nothing but the utmost faith in you. We've even got candles lit to set the mood here. Yeah, so when you're ready, you ask away.
Okay, well, I guess I thought I'd go back to the very beginning. And for those of you who don't know, I live in the house here, and I moved in about a year ago. I met Shawn online through Kijiji, as most people do when they're looking for rentals.
Did you think that you'd be moving into the house with this guy?
Hell no. Have
you had some excitement since you've been here?
Yeah, absolutely. And when I first met you, it was through email correspondence, and it was a realtor, and I didn't even think that you'd be listing your own place, right? I just thought, maybe this, Shawn hired some real estate person to list his place, right? But no, it turns out I show up early, and I'm waiting for some car outside, and it turns out the realtor's actually inside the house. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. And it wasn't until, I think maybe a week, 2 weeks into living here that I found out that you had some history on reality TV, specifically the Bachelorette, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So I figured that we'd start there just because I know that you had a really interesting title on the show. So maybe you could just give us some insight into how you came on the show, what that was like for you.
Okay.
And just the early stages, and then we'll get on to the official title that you were, how you were building the show.
Okay, you don't want me to just go out flat out and say what the title was at this point?
Go ahead.
Okay. So when I was on The Bachelorette, it doesn't seem like that long ago. It's already almost been 2 years. And as briefly as the time was, people don't really understand the amount that's involved leading up to that. So I was already... by the time that you get accepted to be on that show,
right,
it's a very tiring process. There's a lot requested.
How long was the application process?
I started in September of 2014, and I don't think I knew. Yeah, because it was 2015 that I was. Yes, okay. Right. Just see if I get my dates right.
Math there, yeah.
Sure. So I started in September of 2000. End of September 2014, I think, is when I got the original phone call.
Okay.
And following up through that, I had to go to New York as well as Los Angeles, and there was a lot of paperwork sent back and forth in between,
right.
as well as Skype videos. By the time I was accepted, I think it was probably around this time 2 years ago. I think I knew at that Valentine's Day that I was going to be doing the reality TV show and going on the Bachelorette, and that was a tedious process.
So it was basically 5-6 month application process.
Pretty much. I mean, not for everyone.
Right. But that's what you went.
Sure, because they do some active scouting. I know they will go to bars and they want to make sure they get the best quality fit for that show. And go ahead.
So I was just wondering, I haven't actually asked you this before, but how did you come to apply to the actual show? Were you always a fan? Did you see the opportunity come up and you're like, yeah, I'm going to apply for that. I could totally do that. Or was it just something that kind of happened? How did that?
No, it was definitely, it was a show that I really got involved in watching off and on every time that I get into a relationship. Right. It was kind of like, hey, you want to watch it this
fun thing to do with your girlfriend.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so I started watching it back with my high school sweetheart back when I was, 18 years old, I think we started.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's been on that long, eh?
It's been on forever.
Yeah, it's been on forever.
They're on season 21 right now, I think.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Soon people's, the original Bachelor could have kids that are going to be going on that show soon. So it was a really, so I mean, I've had a history with the show and I've always thought, wow, this would be really cool. It would be great to go on these dates and this exotic adventure, right?
And I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? I mean, you go on all those dates, there's beautiful women there.
Mostly intelligent people wouldn't want to do that.
Well, I don't know. I would love it. I'd love to do it, but then again, there must obviously be a big difference between what you thought it was going to be and then what it actually turned out to be.
Well, I mean, I just don't think that I was. I think I was naive in a lot of ways.
Okay.
I think that the show itself, I thought, okay, well, only if people watch the show, then they're going to know I'm on it. I didn't realize, I didn't understand the size of this beast. I didn't understand that Jimmy Kimmel's going to be announcing my name. I didn't understand that ET Canada is going to have a picture up, and I didn't understand that. Yeah, it is. It's insane because as soon as I got back, I started kind of going online, and I realized people had their eye on me before I was even there.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
People had kind of been leaking who would be part of this show, and the power of the internet is just fucked. I mean, social media, at this time, with social media and the power of social media, they've had to adapt. I've really seen changes in that show. I mean, you see people from 3-4 seasons ago, and they have maybe 1,000 Instagram followers, if that, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to properly use Instagram on the show, so I missed out on I think my name was real estate related, so I didn't even have my real name on there.
Right. But again, that was probably more a symptom of you not realizing how much attention you were going to get. Right?
Absolutely. So,
do you think that in a way, because I almost feel like there was so much media nowadays, you've got, ET Canada, you've got all these different shows pumping, all this celebrity stuff into your head. Do you kind of think that you tune it out and so you don't realize really how much is being force-fed, down your ears?
100%. Yeah. It's an eye-opening experience, to say the least. And I mean, I don't discourage it. I think that if it's something that people want to try, by all means. Doing that show was pointed out my weakest areas in life, and I appreciate that. I didn't realize just how judged you become by putting yourself out there like that. And so afterwards, it sort of gave me the insight as to wow, I really pulled a fast one over these guys. I really sold myself as Canada's top bachelor that year, which is complete bullshit. I mean, I was the guy that was up for 2 days before I left. It was just partying and it was
party.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they were kind of looking for. You don't know. Maybe that was my role in the whole thing.
Right.
But to get back to your original point, I don't think had I not been studying what I was studying at that time, I don't think I would have been a part of the show. I think that there's being just a realtor is too common of a thing.
Right.
I think I needed a little bit of an edge.
So that's where this title comes in that they kind of build you as.
Sure.
And that was that of.
They called me an amateur sex coach.
Amateur sex coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which created a lot of waves. I mean, there was an article I read recently where this guy had written about past contestants and how they had been, how their job titles had kind of been put there by producers, right? So just to be totally clear, I had said, you know, I thought I was going to be billed as a real estate broker. Right. And then there'd be a slash. And then at that point it would be, you know, sex coach in training. Right. And I did ask them, I said, okay, so I'm not a fully certified sex coach yet, so I can't really say I'm a sex coach, even though they're like, you know, in the coaching field, you don't really need to be certified to say you're a coach. Right. But I felt more comfortable having all that training and being certified.
Because you wanted it to be as legit as possible.
Sure. Right. So my original suggestion was, okay, can you put me on as like, you know, I don't mind you using this title, but I'd like to be a sex coach in training or something along those lines. Right. Of course, amateur sounds a lot more like a porn star kind of thing. So it sounds a lot better. And obviously, they are there to do a job. They do their job well. They're going to make the most creative title they can out of that.
So they just thought, the hell with real estate broker, real estate agent. Let's just take that off the bill completely. Amateur sex coach. That's what's going to grab those views.
Absolutely. And it certainly caused some waves. And I remember... the funny thing was, I hadn't told my family that I was studying for this new field, you know, this new journey.
It kind of started out as like a hobby and interest for you, and then that grew.
Right, absolutely. It started out as when I broke up with my girlfriend when we split. I shouldn't say that, you know, it was a mutual thing, but when we ended up parting ways, I was looking for something. You know how you go through that breakup type feeling and you're just looking for something that's going to kind of fill that void. So I was looking at life coaching, and then I stumbled into, thought, you know what, life coaching, I wonder if there's like a niche field in these coaching endeavors. So from life coaching, it went into sex coaching. Okay. And I stumbled upon Sex Coach University in California, and I thought, you know what, this is really cool. And I happened to have some spare income at that time. Right. The course is about, I don't know if it's gone up in price, but it's over $3,000 US. Wow. Okay. So it's no joke. Can you flip my phone over? It's bothering me. Thank you.
So,
fuck off. Please don't bother me when I'm on here. Thank you.
You gotta try to maintain our zen.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, train of thought here. So we were talking about getting on the show, sex coach title. Sorry, I got a bit.
That's all right. It's all good.
Distracted there.
Fuckers, I should just turn that thing off before. Okay. Lesson learned. We're new at this.
Yeah, we're new. It's okay.
Yeah.
So they put you down as amateur sex coach, and you said you had been studying this for a while. So when exactly did you find out that was what title they were going to put?
Oh, I saw it on TV.
You saw it on TV. Yeah. So you didn't even get to see this before. They were just like, okay. So they kind of ambushed a bit.
I think they do that with. I don't think that anyone really has full control over their title. Unless if you're smart about it, you kind of have heard about reality TV beforehand, you'll make sure in the contract that they put these things, and you go from there. But at that time, I was way too naive. I was just happy to be a part of it. I didn't really give a shit what they said about me.
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess that was what I was gonna say. Is just that we were talking about the price of the course just before. My phone just disrupted us. So you said it was $3,000 US, right? Yeah. So for all the people listening, I mean, that's not something that you just toss out of your bank account just on a whim to pursue a hobby. This is something you got to have some serious interest in, or at least think it's going to go somewhere.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
You were clearly passionate about this. It was a growing interest. The sex coaching. And then you get on The Bachelor, and then they bill you as that. And then I guess maybe because they were obviously using that title, amateur sex coach, to generate some publicity and some media interest. Do you think there was a disconnect between how that title actually sounds and like what you see a sex coach being and doing?
100%. I think that it was kind of made to look a little bit more like a joke, right? Right. Whereas this is there's some fucking amazing people that I've met down in Los Angeles, and they're all in this program, or they're training to become sex coaches. Mm-hmm. And the two people that are that started this, and the founders of Sex Coach University. They really helped me through the period when